The conditions of Cauipe's lagoon don't get much better for freestyle action. Flat waters and Brazil's pumping breezes are perfect for the world's best athletes to showcase their insane skills in the stadium-like setting.
Eu tive sonho e acordei chorando, lágrimas de Oxalá, uma bênção, raios do luar.
The Qatar Airways GKA Kite World Tour returned to Cauipe for the second consecutive year. Knowledgeable Brazilian crowds always turn out in force to cheer on the world's top freestylers and urge on their homegrown athletes. The lagoon at Cauipe is one of the world's legendary kiteboarding spots. The wind that blows every day in the season draws freestylers from all over the world, coming to train for months at a time, year after year. Some of our top GKA top riders explained why Cauipe is so special.
For me, Cauipe is the mecca of kiteboarding freestyle. It's like where everything started, where everyone developed their skills.
Kind of the birthplace of freestyle. Like this is where like so many tricks have been landed here for the first time.
All the riders every year, we come here, we train together, we push each other.
I come here since 2013, every year for 3 months.
It just has a little magic with the palm trees in the back, the sand, the barracas downwind. It kind of hasn't changed in so many years.
Just the vibe, the coconuts, the acai, just look at this behind me.
I remember right at the beginning, it was the only lagoon that we discovered. So everyone was like, let's go to Cauipe, let's go to Cauipe.
And it's still such a mecca for kiting, and you come here and you still see people unhooking and trying all those freestyle tricks.
To have these conditions, it's amazing because you can pop harder, you can be more confident in your landings because there's no chop, there's no one coming in front.
Nothing beats this spot, you know? And you have legends such as like Carlos Mario coming from here.
Now we see David Ribeiro, a little local kid growing up right behind the lagoon.
I get goosebumps just talking about it because this spot has so much history.
It's such an iconic event.
And it's an honor to compete here.
For Bruna Kagia, Cauipe is one of the spots she calls home. For her, the vibe of the fans is second to none. It has also been the cradle Brazil's new and emerging talent, none more than 16-year-old sensation Davi Ribeiro.
I've been training a lot with David Ribeiro, and for me, he's such a young talent to look out for. Not only for his skills, he's like, you know, doing KGB 7s, one of the few people in the world that does proper backside 319s, like proper. Some of the best I've ever seen. But also as a person, this kid has a heart of gold, and I think it's so important this. He's so humble, he has the mind on the right place. I really hope he does well, because if he does, he can go far, and I'll be cheering for him.
Germany's Kaya Lehmann is another young athlete who burst onto the world stage this year when she landed her first podium at the opening stop in France in August.
My goal was to try some new tricks that no one has done because I wanted to see like what they would score, and the men are doing it, so I wanted to try too. So when I look at other people's riding, I mainly look at the men and see what they do, since they're like pushing blind tricks and also other tricks I wanted to try. And therefore I tried blind and landed a new trick in comp. Yeah. It's been amazing competing here. I mean, this is my second competition so far, so I don't have that much experience yet. But compared to youth, the level is so much higher, and it's just amazing to be around so many people that do freestyle, and also just watching the others kite is really cool. Ending up on the podium would be like a dream come true for sure, but like I would be happy with top 5, maybe ending up in another final would be amazing for sure.
The German set the bar high in her opening heat in Cauipe when she unveiled a world first in competition, a blind front roll to blind that earned an 8.0 from the judges and saw her move up. The quarterfinals highlighted some other standout performances by young riders out to make a name for themselves. France's Mathilde Roux bought her ticket to the semi-final with some solid moves that buoyed her confidence for the battles to come. Poland's Martina Konkel was another athlete who moved up the order to the semi-final. by the semi-finals, matters were getting serious. Kaia Lehmann put together a solid heat that booked her a slot in her second successive final. Italy's Francesca Bagnoli threw down a massive heart attack for 8.23 in an otherwise spotty heat, but it was enough to advance. The big guns, Spain's Rita Arnaus and local favorite Bruna Kaggia, faced off in the other semi-final. Arnaus was assured and consistent, knocking down some decent scoring tricks, including a 6.6 for a slim chance. But Kaggia was relentless, landing every trick attempt and just going bigger and bigger. Her 9.0 for a combo, followed by 7.7 for a Pete Rose, and another enormous 32.63 heat total. The final in the strong breezes was a belter that pitted Rita Arnaus against Francesca Bagnoli, Kaia Lehmann, and Bruna Kaggia. Bagnoli was locked in a tussle with Arnaus as they traded blows going trick for trick. But in the end, the Italian just lost out, and she had to be content with third. Arnaus just got her nose in front with her final trick for 6.6 that gave her second place. Brazil's Bruna Kaggia was quite simply in a league of her own again. An 8.47 for a KGB was followed by an 8.23 for a combo and 7.37 for a front blind.
Aí vai, leva a tua bandeira, mostra pra todo mundo, a bandeira do Brasil lá em cima, Bruna Kaggia, galera!
In this kind of form, Kaggia is untouchable, and she took the victory for back-to-back season wins.
I don't have words to describe how I feel. This is a dream for me. To compete in Cauipe is a dream. To win at home, I'll tell you, there's nothing like it. Like winning in Brazil with the Brazilian people, I can only hope people can experience one day, because the feeling you get, the support you get, the energy, it's the pinnacle of sports, and I got to live it today. So yeah, I'm all smiles and very grateful. Yes, 2 wins in a row. I mean, I've been putting a lot of work, so I'm super happy with the result, and I've worked really hard for it. And to win Dunkirk here back to back is huge, but I'll keep training, and hopefully Qatar is gonna be one more win to finish off the year with a golden result.
And welcome back, everybody. It is finals day over here in Taiba, Brazil for the Qatar Airways GKA Kite World Tour Freestyle event. And I don't know if you've tuned in, but we have had the best freestyle to date. We saw yesterday Jean-Maria Coccoluto absolutely explode out on the water with a 38 plus out of 40 possible points. Pretty much as picture perfect as it gets.
Yeah, I did one of the best hits in kiteboarding history. I took 210 in the hit and 29 point something, almost 40 points.
Front grab, front blind move 5, and he lands it perfect. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. What a battle until the end. What a way to do it by the skin of his teeth on that last move. But it is Jean-Maria Coccoluto, your new world freestyle champion.
Well, look, I have goosebumps. Like, it was crazy moment for me because I've been training the past 10 years for this. I hope I can do the same this year here in Cauipe and do the best hit ever again.
In the men's lineup, the multi-talented Swiss athlete, Maxime Chabloz, has felt the strain of competing after so many successive second places.
It's gonna be a tricky one because obviously Coco dropped out in the semi-final in France, so he has quite a lot of work to do to get back into the fight. Finn was in 3rd place and he's been riding really good here in Brazil, and let's see what he can do. But there's a lot of other very, very good competitors around, and I think it's gonna be a really, really tough ask to make it to the final, and hopefully make it to the final, get the pressure off the shoulders, and then just be able to perform at my best level and just hopefully win the competition.
The men's quarterfinals boasted several riders who had great runs and threw down big heats, but still found themselves out of the competition. Brazil's João Lucas was on fire and put down an 8.33 for a KGB7 among a raft of high-scoring tricks. But he was sent out when he was off the pace by only half a point. Australia's Leo Verrecchia made it to the semi-final at the expense of the Frenchman Luca Pitot, who was also less than a point behind his rival. One of the biggest surprise exits was Brazil's Eric Anderson, who had been charging. Even an 8.5 for a big heart attack 7 was not enough to see him go further. The Dominican powerhouse Duri Corniel was back in action for the first time in 2 years. But after a mixed heat, he will have to do some work to match rivals at the highest level. The first semi-final could have been the final on another day. Egypt's Karim Mahmoud faced off against former world champions Arthur Gilabert and Gianmaria Coccoludo, with Maxime Chablos in the mix. Mahmoud could not match the fireworks of his earlier heats. Even a big 9.33 for a backside to blind was not enough to get him over the line, and he finished fourth. Coccoludo had a checkered heat despite some big tricks, and made his way out. Chablas was his usual precise and powered self, landing a massive back mob 7 that the judges gave 9.27. That was enough to take him forward. France's Arthur Gilabert opened with a big 8.63 for a heart attack and built with a 9.53 for a front blind mob 5 that booked his spot in the final. By comparison, the second semi-final was a more muted affair between France's Valentin Garat, Leo Verrecchia, Finn Flugel, and local hero Davi Ribeiro. The biggest surprise was Ribeiro, who opened with 2 massive moves, including 9.1 for a KGB7. Then the wheels came off and he finished third to end his run. Garat kept himself in the game and did enough to advance to the final along with Flugel. The German teenager's solid tricks that included a 7.6 for a blind heart attack 5 earned him the win. The men's final set Cauipe's grandstand, buzzing with anticipation. Maxime Chablos was matched with Valentin Garat, Arthur Gilabert, and Finn Flugel. But nerves seemed to have got the better of the athletes, and it was a slightly patchy encounter studded with crashes. Garrett put down a big 8.03 for a slim chance, but struggled for any consistency after that and ended in fourth. Flugel kept himself in the chase with a 7.57 for a KGB7. But his biggest move, a massive combo, went awry at the end, and his kite crashed onto the beach. He took third place. The real fight was a straight battle between Chablos and Gilabert. Gilabert had the edge until deep in the heat, a front blind mob 5 for 907 appearing to do the damage. But Chablos built on a perfect 10-point ride for a back mob 7. The Swiss rider closed out the heat with a 7.9 for a heart attack 7 that gave him the win by a fraction of a point. It was the first World Cup win of his career and put him joint top of the rankings with final event of the season due in Qatar in early December.
I can't believe it. I'm really speechless. It's been a really tough journey. I think, what was it, 4 or 5 second places almost in a row, and I almost stopped believing in it. I almost thought like, this is it, like maybe I'm never gonna win an event again. Like, it's really, really tough to keep the mental there, and I've been working really, really hard to get there, but it's been so tough, and coming here, not that sure of myself to win, but I knew I could do it. I managed to convince myself that I could, and yeah, but I can't believe it. Yeah, the 10 was an amazing feeling, but it also almost put a bit of pressure on me because last year I managed to get a 10 and then I still got second. So when I got the 10 quite early in the heat, I was like, ooh, now you gotta land the whole heat. Like, don't slack now.
The almost mythical spot of Cauipe delivered again. With their wins, Bruna Kajia delighted her home fans, and Maxime Chablos slayed his demons. Join us again in Qatar for the finale.